Finally, some answers as A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith open up about what they believe derailed the Eagles' season. Meanwhile, A.J. responds to some of the circulating trade rumors. We'll talk about if they have any validity or not. And lastly, DeAndre Swift on his potential future with the Birds. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into A to Z Philly. Do me a favor, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel as we have you covered all year long when it comes to Philadelphia Eagles talk. Today, we're back and we got some interesting quotes, I'll be honest. But finally, just finally, somebody asked the right questions. Thank you. I've been waiting for this moment. So we will talk about what was said and whether it's true or not, and we'll get into all that. But I have a question for Eagle Nation, and it's very obvious to me. But there are people out there who disagree with me, so I want to know from Eagle Nation, should the Birds have any interest whatsoever in trading A.J. Brown this offseason? Is there any way, shape, or form that they should move on from A.J. Brown? Sound off and give me your thoughts down below in the comments section. Before we jump into all the news, a shout out to our proud sponsor of today's video, BetMGM. The biggest winner in the big game can be you this year. Thanks to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, is offering new customers a chance to score $158 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, instantly. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up with the bonus code ATOZPA200. Then place a $5 moneyline wager on the big game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. Do not miss your opportunity to cross the goal line on the money line as pro football's top teams clash for the championship. Bring the big game excitement to you this year with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 plus only, Pennsylvania only, new customer offer. All right, let's talk about DeAndre Swift. We'll start off with him. He was on Micah Parsons' podcast, and here is what he had to say about the Eagles' rough go after starting 10-1. Quote, "It's tough. Later in the year, people started playing their best ball. It comes down to we're not making enough plays. People might say play calling, coaching, or whatever. But at the end of the day, we are out there. We got to make it happen. Whatever might be called, it comes down to execution. From top to bottom, we did not make enough plays." And I respect that. You know, as a competitor, as a player, he's going to take it on the chin. He's going to hold himself accountable. And I feel really bad for DeAndre Swift, the same way I felt bad about Miles Sanders, where these guys have a lot of potential. They have the ability to go out there and be high leverage players in any situation, and they just were not used enough. So I commend DeAndre Swift, and I think he's going to get a nice payday in free agency, the hometown kid. But honestly, if the Eagles are not going to instill a running philosophy and utilize him, then why would he stay? And speaking of which, DeAndre talks about his future coming up here with free agency. He says that the only factor in his decision is, quote, "whatever the right situation is for me and my family." That's all it comes down to. And I respect the man, a guy that got it out the mud, and he's out here trying to, you know, provide for his family. And he had a really good year. He had 1,000 yards. He could have had 1,500 if he was used properly. And I respect it. So I do think he will be moving on. Let me know. Do you think the Eagles should re-sign him? I think there would be a benefit of doing so, but the Eagles just do not re-sign guys like this. And it was nice to have him come back in his hometown, but I do think he will be moving on. We'll have to wait and see. But a couple guys that shouldn't be moving on, or at least one that should not be moving on for sure, is A.J. Brown. And there are weird trade rumors circulating over the past week. And what it comes down to is people in Philadelphia, some of these talking heads, think that A.J. Brown is a diva. Now, whether he is or not, the dude is a damn talented football player. He is maybe already on pace to be the best receiver the Eagles have ever had, or at least one of them. And he's out here just absolutely balling in his first 2 seasons. And sure, the offense crumpled, the philosophy sucked, etc. We know that. But for anybody in their right mind to want to trade A.J. Brown, you have to be almost crazy. You have to be almost to the point of insanity. I don't understand why teams do this, especially a team like the Eagles, who is going to be competing next year, we hope, right? And they still have a talented roster. Why would you get rid of one of your best pieces, right? Because of an attitude thing? I haven't even seen anything over the top other than a couple sideline arguments, right? You know, with Jalen Hurts and the coach. And that's normal. That's a part of going to work and figuring it out. But what happens is you have 94 WIP here putting on Twitter, if you're the Eagles, would you trade A.J. Brown for Pat Surtain? Because Pat Surtain is being involved in a lot of trade talks, and sure, the Eagles may need another corner after the debacle season of James Bradbury, but that doesn't mean you trade A.J. Brown. So, they put these kind of things out into the air, and then people run with them and act like they're trade rumors. There is no trade rumors. A.J. Brown is going to be an Eagle next season, and he damn well deserves to be because he's one of the best players on the roster. Simple. Easy as that. You don't get rid of a guy like that who's in his mid-20s and right now is on pace to, he's already one of the best in the league, but on pace to be one of the best in recent memory. So shout out to A.J. Brown, and he was on the Up and Adams show today with Kay Adams. So was DeVonta Smith. They were just kind of having fun, laughing and joking around. Good to see them smiling. A.J. Brown on the trade rumors. After asked, DeVonta steps in and says, quote, he's not going anywhere. AJ was just saying how he wants to improve himself and have a good offseason like he did last year and get better at his game. And I commend that. He's always working hard. But DeVonta knows, man, these guys are boys. Even if there's some friction going on during games with Jalen and AJ, they are best buddies off the field, or at least they used to be. And they have a good relationship. So, yeah, you don't move AJ Brown. And here's what he said about the specific question. He says, quote, maybe they know something I don't, talking about these weird trade rumors. They're not even real. They're made up, like I said. I've been through this before. I'm a veteran. I remain quiet. If something happens, I'll be waiting by the phone, but if not, I will be right here. That's all he can say, right? He doesn't want to overstep the boundary and get in trouble with his agent. He doesn't want to say, yes, this could happen, because in the slight chance that something doesn't happen or goes the other way than what he says, then he's getting in trouble, et cetera, et cetera. So he goes out there with the plain answer, but DeVonta knows, AJ probably knows, he's not getting moved unless something were to happen major where there's just a disagreement and behind the scenes, the relationship is broken with the Eagles and the front office or whatever. I just don't see it getting to that point. So let's appreciate the greatness that we have in AJ Brown while he is here. Now, AJ Brown talked about scrubbing his social medias every time the Eagles get to the playoffs, or every time he gets to the playoffs. He usually deletes his social medias, and that's another reason that people think he's a diva. Again, they just try to run with these fake storylines. But here's what he said, quote, that had nothing to do with football. That's just me trying to grow as a person, just trying to block out negativity as much as I can. When he didn't speak to the media, and again, they were trying to run with that. What he was doing is he was pissed off at Brian Johnson for having no damn game plan. And instead of taking it out on everybody, he tried to just take a step back and figure it out, right? And not say anything he shouldn't. And I commend him. That is maturity right there. And he even apologized to the team and held a meeting. So I have no problems at all with AJ Brown. I don't think anybody should. And in terms of talking about the actual offense, DeVonta Smith was asked about, what the Eagles need to do or what their future would look like now with Kellen Moore. And he has one wish. He says, quote, just let us do what we do. Like anybody else would say, just get us the ball. You know what that says to me right there? That says, damn, Brian's a good guy, but he sucked. He sucked. Get your playmakers the ball. How many times do we say it throughout the season? You have guys, utilize all different route patterns, right? Get them the ball early. Get them in rhythm. The Eagles' offense was so bland. It was so ridiculous at the end of the year that these guys didn't believe in what they were doing, and you saw it with their body language, and that's why they didn't care, and that's why they went out the way that they did. But speaking about the way they went out, DeVonta and AJ were asked what happened, and shout out to Kay for finally asking the right question. I don't know why nobody asked that question in the presser. Here's what they said, quote, AJ says, I think things started turning around. And it was like a domino effect. We were trying to stop the bleeding, but we just ran out of time. And they were asked if Sirianni lost the team. DeVonta says, quote, nah, I just think there's some things we didn't adjust too well as a team. I don't think he lost the team at all. And that is the right answer. Don't leave any speculation. Nick Sirianni's going to be the coach of this team. They know that. That's how you back your leader. AJ said before that Nick backed the players. Well, guess what? They're backing him. That is the right thing to do. Again, from a maturity standpoint, it's almost crazy to think how young these guys are, yet they are blossoming into the leaders of this team. And I think AJ's right. I think they were trying to stop the bleeding. You saw them trying to do, or act different or do some different things, but they just knew what they were preaching from the top down. The philosophy they were running with, the system, made absolutely no sense. Brian Johnson was lost. They couldn't figure anything out, and we saw the writing on the wall. It just kept getting worse and worse, and we knew that they were going out in that playoff game, but we didn't know how bad they were going out. That was just pitiful, but it had to hit that level for the Eagles to finally realize we need experienced coordinators. We need guys who can kind of right the ship. So that's where these guys are at. That's where their head's at, and I agree. And these two are going to be a vital component of this team next year, an integral part, and I can't wait to see how they play, man. I think Kellen Moore is more of a creative offensive coordinator who uses a lot of motion, who will get his receivers, in some of these optimal situations, all with the hot routes, and just, man, get these guys the ball. They are too damn good. They still both had 1,000 yards this season, even with how bad the offense was. So those are my thoughts. Give me all of yours down below in the comments section. Can't wait to see what the Eagles do next. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.